Welcome to the first ever episode of Gear History. So I'm Max Carton, and in this series I'm going to be educating you guys on the gear that was used on the classic albums. So if you like that stuff, please stick around and please consider subscribing for more of these episodes and more guitar related cool videos on my channel every Sunday. So today's episode we're going to be talking about the amplifier that Slash used on the Appetite for Destruction album. So when they went out to record the Appetite for Destruction album, they went ahead and got a lot of Marshalls, and the one that Slash liked was the S.I.R. number 39, not to be mistaken by the number 34 which he used later in his career. And the number 39 amp was basically a modded Marshall Tremolo 100 amp, and that was basically a Marshall Plexi, but they modified it to have a different preamp with a master volume, and they used a tube for the tremolo circuit to add an extra gain stage to actually cascade a lot more gain into the amp to be able to get a lot more awesome sustain. So after they recorded that album, Slash kind of tricked the people from S.I.R. and he told him that someone stole the amp from them, so he couldn't return that amp. But later, one of his roadies, when they went to rehearse at the S.I.R. facility in LA, he actually took the amp with him, and the guys from S.I.R., of course, they recognized the amp and they got it back. So basically, Slash kind of hated that dude, and they ended up needing another recording head. Another really cool fact about that number 39 was that actually George Lynch from Dokken also rented that amplifier during his tour with Twisted Sister in 1985 with Dokken. So he ended up renting that amp for $2,000 for the whole tour, and then he wanted to buy it, but a lot of guys wanted that amp, so they wouldn't get rid of it at S.I.R. and basically he had to give it back, and then the year after that Slash got it for the Appetite for Destruction recordings. But let's stop about George Lynch and keep him for another episode. So after having to return that amp, Slash got hip to another S.I.R. amp, which was the number 34, and that was basically a modified JCM 800 with a bit more gain. And you can check the awesome series out by Marshall, where they kind of make his signature amp with the number 34 and number 39 in there, and they call the number 39 the AFD mode, and the number 34 is that really cool Marshall JCM 800 that he has been using for a lot of recordings since Appetite for Destruction. Slash is also very famous for using a Marshall Silver Jubilee, but he did not use that amp on Appetite for Destruction based on the simple fact that that amp was released in 1987 and the album was recorded in 86, so he couldn't have used that amp, but he used it a lot in his career, and now in 2017 and 18 he has been using a lot of Marshall Silver Jubilees as well. Another thing to note about Slash's tone is that he likes to use the 6550 tubes, which basically were a kind of American variant of the EL34s. They are a lot stiffer, a lot louder, and a lot kind of brighter, so he tends to kind of mod his amplifiers with that tube. So if he gets a JCM 800, he will put that tube in there, and all of these kind of Silver Jubilees have those tubes, or they have KT88s for the clean kind of amps that he uses. And he also ends up sticking those in his signature Marshall Appetite for Destruction amp. So there you had episode number 1 of the Gear History, and I hope you guys really liked this episode. It was a little bit of insight on the Appetite for Destruction amplifier, and please guys, if you dig it, please consider subscribing. Please consider checking out some of my other guitar related stuff on YouTube, and then I will see you next Sunday.